Welcome. Me and Sam were just talking offline about how LLM rank tracking is BS. So we'll start here. So both of us do SEO. Sam, you do SEO as well. What's your honest opinion on LLM rank tracking and all that?
Yeah, I think most of it is BS. At least now, I feel like the only folks that are winning when it comes to LLM and AI search tracking is the SaaS tools that have come out the back of it. Like I've seen 4 or 5 SaaS tools just crop out the woodwork in the last few months, like some of which have had $20-30 million in funding, and it feels like they've won building the product, but I don't know if the end users, whether that's agencies, in-house marketers, solopreneurs, etc., that actually want to get data on what folks are searching around certain prompts, be it on ChatGPT or otherwise. I don't feel like they're winning because I feel like it's so difficult to actually analyze and actually get real data.
There's no data on that. The thing is, with Google tells you, hey, listen, this is what people are searching for. This is how many times they search for it in a month. With LLMs, you don't know the prompts people are searching for because they don't give you that data, right? So how do you make a product around that? It's quite interesting how they're making it. Right?
Exactly. To me, it all feels like guesstimation. I mean, I'm sure over time, because this is so new on the grand scheme of things, I'm sure over time it will become more easier and easier to actually track the type of prompts that folks are searching. But to me, it feels like, one, because the data that can get served up to you in LLMs can be skewed by your previous history and what you've kind of looked for in the past. Two, every prompt can be super obscure and niche, so how do you know what everyone's searching for? And three, like results each time vary so much across tools, so it's like it's so difficult to pinpoint compared to, like you say, Google search, where you've historically gone by kind of keyword traffic, rankings, impressions, click-throughs, etc., which is a lot more tangible.
Yeah. I'd say it's impossible, but who knows? We'll see how the market develops. I just know Ahrefs is charging like $1,000 a month for their add-ons, which is a bit insane, but I mean, each their own.
It's funny, yeah. I know their CMO Tim Sulu. He's been on our podcast Breaking B2B a while back, and it looks like he's trying to push for a free trial for that. But yeah, all I know is my subscription or my agency subscription to Ahrefs is going up and up, and they're making some good dollars from us. But I still have a lot of love for them. In fact, I've got their book in my background, and they've partnered with us on stuff. So they're a cool company.
I love Ahrefs. Like for example, for doing backlink research, it's the best thing. I just put a competitor URL there, check their backlinks, check if I can replicate some of them, and then just go from there.
It's a great tool. Great tool. They do great content, so I can't say a bad thing about them really.
Yeah. Speaking of backlinks, by the way, for your clients, is that something that you usually like put effort in, or is it more just content and technical SEO?
Yeah. I mean, so I suppose clients come to us for different I guess end deliverables. Most of the time we're working with small marketing teams, and usually they see the value in organic search, be it on Google or now LLMs, to get visibility, get brand recognition, and drive inbound leads, demos, or pipeline. And most of the time they just lack the resources in-house, so usually that means building out the strategy, doing the work, doing the execution, building the content, articles, landing pages, product pages, comparison pages, whatever, sometimes publishing it to the website, and then doing backlink work, citations, etc. So yeah, that often comes as part of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I asked about backlinks because we've seen backlinks work like insanely well. Sort of like a magic little thing. You can overuse them. I've seen guys get penalized and clapped by Google, so that's
for sure. I think there's a funny thing about backlinks, like. I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel a lot of content can do really well without links. And that usually is when you get super niche, like with SaaS companies that we work with, when we're talking about going after the competitors that a lot of their customers kind of move away from, and going super niche into product features, functionalities, pain points, use cases, industries they serve best, etc. Like that kind of content can work really well. That's kind of low search, low difficulty, but super high sales intent and likely to drive leads. Whereas when you go to the more generic category-based terms, like, I don't know, calendar scheduling software and all that kind of stuff, you've got no chance of ranking without backlinks. So they have their times definitely where they're needed.
True. It's pretty cool that you do B2B SaaS SEO. We're a SaaS company. One of the best types of content to produce is like comparison pages, you versus them. Your pricing, their pricing features, like just comparison. And what I've seen is, even though these comparison pages might not rank on Google and Bing, they are cited on GPT, Claude, Grok, which is pretty cool. I think Ahrefs came out with a study which they concluded that the freshness of the citations on ChatGPT are more fresh than the links on Google. Does that make sense? So the content is fresher on GPT. And again, even though it doesn't rank on Google, it is still cited and mentioned on GPT. Like, I need a tool for hosting my online course. Gives you a bunch of them. I want to make sure that I have unlimited seats. Well, GPT only has data on if you have unlimited seats or not, if you just stayed somewhere. So that's been insane for SaaS, at least what I'm seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of the crux of good SEO is what is neglected is understanding the dream client and really understanding their world. And this comes back to getting that regular feedback loop of talking to your existing customers, target prospects, or even recently churned, recently won, and kind of knowing like what is the tipping point, like what's their job to be done, what do they struggle with, get annoyed with in-house, where it becomes so annoying, causes churn, causes cash flow issues, causes customer loss, that they then move to you. Like in SaaS space, that's mostly trying to juggle spreadsheets or do some kind of weird internal process that gets so frustrating they eventually evaluate solutions like yours. Or who's like the big boy, the big player in your industry that they often start with, but then they get frustrated with because maybe the customer support is off, the pricing goes crazy when they add extra users, or something else is off. And if you can know those like expensive pain points, those expensive jobs to be done, those expensive struggling points, it's huge to leverage, like you said there, with alternative or comparison stuff. But a lot of that goes beyond SEO. It's just good B2B marketing to know this.
Yeah, exactly. I guess SEO is like a holistic marketing strategy. There's a bunch of stuff inside of it.
For sure.
I saw this e-commerce store, where they have like the product, the classic product page. Then at the bottom they have like, hey, this is made out of this material. And it's made out of this because it's USA whatever approved paint, whatever. So they're specific about the material and why that material is there and what it does. And I find it so cool because when you go on LLMs and you ask it, hey, I'm looking for like a garden, I think they're garden beds. I'm looking for a garden bed. Which material should I choose? Well, metal, wood, whatever. Okay, let me go with metal because it's more resistant. But then it tells you, hey, but metal can be like bad for your health. Okay, then find me a brand that has metal garden beds that's not bad for health. These guys will show up because they mention it, they talk about it. So I think, at least that's my opinion, nowadays in the LLM space, it's all about giving as much context as you can about your product, your service, what you do, what you don't do, just putting it all out there. I think that's how you can win in the LLM space. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, it's not all that different from the good classic B2B and SaaS SEO playbook, right? Like working out the industries you serve best, working out the use cases, working out the features, working out the problems you solve, and prioritizing, working out the competitors that come up in sales calls to a frustrating amount, prioritizing that content, aka the pages that make sense for that content, and then going super deep, but not going super deep, i.e. getting ChatGPT to write you a load of BS, like you were going to supercharge your revenues in 100 days using this technological wizardry that doesn't even make sense, but leveraging the stuff you've learned from your customers and then writing it in language that they understand, the jargon they actually use internally, and then to your point, going deep on the topic, whether it's about a certain industry, a certain use case, a certain feature, or in this case, the fact that they're, I don't know, saving the environment or whatever it is relevant to this offer. But like you say, yeah, LLMs love that depth because think about it, people search on Google, like linking it back to SaaS, on Google a CMO might search best proposal software. On an LLM they might search, I run a 50 seat sales operation, we're struggling with this software, I need a sales software that has feature A, B and C within X and Y price point, I need it within this timeline and it has to have this capabilities. Like the searches are so much more granular, so it's thinking about that with the content that you put out and making it useful and obviously chunking it up on page so LLMs can easily pick it up and such.
Yeah, I think that's the playbook, honestly. Do you have anything you've tested recently with LLMs that you found like how to manipulate it? I have something pretty cool with Grok, but I want to hear if you have something as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did we did an episode recently where I basically said, look, if I were a marketer at a B2B SaaS or a founder at a B2B SaaS and I had 90 days to, this works on Google as well, to start driving pipeline on Google and LLMs, like this is what I do. And a lot of it is what we just spoke about, like prioritizing. A lot of SEO work and LLM work comes down to like ruthless prioritization, like really drill down into what are the industries we've historically sold well into that have the problem we solve, that we can look at our CRM and we know they drive good revenue. What are the main aspects of our product or features of our product that people want to know or people care about, and then what are the kind of main competitors that come up in sales conversations to an annoying level that we sometimes lose to, and like prioritizing that content in terms of kind of search term and content to build out, but also doing the quick win stuff. Like we can analyze, we've already got this commercial content like ranking in Google's sake, I don't know, but on page 1, wherever it is, maybe that's, if we're in the proposal software space, like best proposal software for sales teams, whatever. It could be something like that, or it could be Proposify alternatives, or Quilla alternatives, or PandaDoc alternatives, or something like that. But we can see we've already got that content. Like, let's just refresh it and make it benchmark what's ranking top and blow that completely out of the water. And to your point, like make the content more relevant, maybe leverage some unique data that we've got. Maybe we've done a research topic with our customers, like weave that in and just make it more helpful. And then eventually maybe need to point some backlinks to it. But I suppose one of the big things is listicles, especially in my world, B2B SaaS. Type in anything almost related to high sales intent, bottom of the funnel searches, like we're evaluating X software, it's probably going to cite a listicle in a small little link. So if you can, one, get as many lines in the water on your own website, so make sure you've built every listicle that makes sense around your product, whether that's for alternative searches, pricing searches, or generic category terms like best X software or best X software for niche, like build those on your own website so you own them, where you position your tool as number 1.
Yeah.
But they're not wall of text. They actually show the product in action. They have like video reviews of customers that have switched to you, and they're actually product led, and they work as a sales page and have a fair comparison of the other alternative vendors. But then reach out to those, in this case, you could probably just do a Google search for what you're trying to rank for. Reach out to those listicles that are ranking top 3, top 4, top 5, and try and get a placement in the top 3 or 4 of their listicles, which you can quite often do. Like I think a lot of folks are scared to do it, but you can do it for free. Like we've done it quite a lot for Breaking B2B, just with a value exchange. So whether that's like you reach out to whoever's running marketing for their site or whoever makes sense, and then you offer them something like, we'll place you in this listicle, or we'll do a sponsored post about you, or invite you to our podcast, or add you to this webinar, something like that. There's usually some kind of low lift kind of value exchange, so you can get those placements. And those listicles.
That's why I'm here, right? See, I got invited to this podcast because we're going to be ranking first on the listicle. I'm just kidding. But I think it's easier than people realize to just either pay or do them a favor, a value exchange, as you said. Show up first. Yeah.
Exactly. And there might be circumstances where it is pay to play and it makes sense because they're ranking top in Google search and there's good intent, there's good traffic to it. Like you might as well just pay. But there might be others where you can do some kind of exchange. Those are a few. There's lots more.
What I've seen as well, like maybe you've seen this before, it's Wise, TransferWise is a bank. You know about them? It's a banking app.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. So what they do is they're sort of a PayPal's competitor. They produce content about PayPal better than PayPal's content. So they rank above PayPal for their own keywords. For example, like PayPal's fees, they rank above PayPal for that. Because the content is just so much better. They have like this amazing calculator. So that just goes to show you, if you can produce content about your competitors, about your other B2B or SaaS competitors, about them better than them. This is something we do on YouTube, like how to use competitor name, right? And we want to start doing it more on like in written formats. Literally, how to use this tool or this feature in this competitor. Because you can literally just show them how to do it and then say, hey, listen, this is good. We have one that does it even better, even faster, even cheaper. Right?
Yeah, completely agree. We get a lot. So I work with a lot of B2B SaaS teams, right? And so many, especially as you move more mid-market and enterprise, usually the bigger the organization, the more well-known, they're very scared to do this. I think one, they're scared of legal, and also just folks on their team are like, oh, we shouldn't ever mention our competitors. but there's multiple a similar argument around sharing pricing on a B2B website, and we can get into that in a second. Like, not sharing pricing is ridiculous on any website, especially with LLMs, because they're going to share it anyway, just from sources you can't control. So yeah, the thing is, like, it's so smart to do this strategy, because most B2B SaaS companies we speak to, like a decent chunk of their customers come because they're annoyed with the incumbent vendor. And if you're hearing that repetitively on sales calls or success calls, like, you need to double down on that. And the good thing about SEO is, like you said, it's so low difficulty but easy lift. And all you've got to do is like transcribe those sales calls, and you can get all the information you need to weave into those pages, and you're probably going to rank better than what's ever ranking at the moment. There's a bit more to it in terms of strategy, but at a high level, that's all you got to do. And those I've seen those pages rank in 72 hours, like top 3.
Yeah, and oftentimes, like, you're producing content about the competitors that they didn't even produce, so it's even easier, right?
Yeah, such a like, I feel like it's a known strategy, but I just feel like a lot of companies don't exhaust it. Like, they maybe do it a little bit, or they skip it, or just don't do it thoroughly.
Yeah, true. I think more people should be doing it, because I think it works very well. It's bottom of the funnel, and it's easy to rank for. Yes. I was mentioning my I guess secret strategy for Grok, which is just exploitation for now, because that's how all marketing works, right? Marketing is just finding what stuff that works until it stops working. Basically, we just took a bunch of YouTube videos, of which we already produced the videos on YouTube, and I thought, okay, let me just go first and ask Grok, hey, what's the best AI tool for SEO, or what's the best keywords that I think people would search for, prompts that could find my product on Grok. And we weren't showing up. And so I created a Twitter account, and I started basically uploading the YouTube videos we were producing that talked about SEO and about our product onto Twitter all the time, every day. And eventually, when I went on Grok now and asked for stuff about SEO, well, suddenly we were being cited, because Grok is biased, right? Grok, as any LM is, they cite Twitter posts much more often than not. Just like, for example, GPT cites Bing, or excuse me, there's a correlation between Bing rankings and GPT.
Did you hear about the Google thing recently with them, by the way?
No.
We can go into that. I'll let you finish, then we'll talk about it.
No, I was just saying, for example, Perplexity, like, for whichever reason, cites YouTube videos a lot. But yeah, Grok cites a bunch of tweets. So just put out a bunch of tweets saying you're the best, or what's your pricing, or whatever, to make sure you show up on Grok. I don't know for how long that will work, but that's the exploitation that's happening at the moment. That's
a funny little hack. That's funny, man. It's kind of like marketers. Pretty much every B2B marketer, almost every B2B and SaaS marketer that joins a discovery call or sales call with us are like, well, we want to start getting visibility on LLMs. How do we do it? I said, well, you need to go back in your time machine and build brand 10 years ago. Because that's literally the companies that are winning on there. Like the ones that have got all this, because the long short of it is LLMs, like the Grok hack aside, they're pulling stuff from all over the web. Like Reddit's one of the most cited sites. You've got Wikipedia, you've obviously got direct from websites, you've got comparisons, review sites. So if you've got 10, 15 years worth of folks talking about your brand and mentioning your brand in a positive way relevant to your product, then that's why a lot of the times the big players that have got all this PR from over the years are winning, because they've just got so many folks talking about them on these different channels that it's almost like but there is ways to win, like we said, like listicles or different, making sure your website is super exhaustive on all the use cases and details and stuff people are searching for, and there's lots of different playbooks that you can roll out. Something I was going to say is that I think up to now, or up to recently, a lot of folks thought that ChatGPT was like mainly pulling from Bing and wasn't really referencing Google. But I don't know if you saw Backlinko recently did this experiment, and I think someone else did as well, where they made up a new word, they made up a new term. They built a page that just, there's like a wall of text about this made up word, set it to only, with their robots.txt, they set it so it could only be picked up by Google, then indexed it, so it was only picked up by Google, indexed a few hours later, and then searched for what is that made up word, and then ChatGPT, I think it was only the ChatGPT Plus and Perplexity, the other ones didn't find it, but just those two, pulled up the exact page copy, word for word, from Google.
From Google, yeah.
So I think that was quite interesting, because I thought like Bing was one of the most sourced sites, but it looks like they're starting to pull from Google quite a lot.
I think like because there's a very high correlation between Bing and Google, right? What ranks first on Google usually ranks first on Bing, right? So I could be wrong here, but I'd still think GPT still prioritizes Bing, even if they don't say so.
I mean, it makes sense because of Microsoft backing and stuff, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's going to be interesting how they monetize these engines, like, because I know you have to pay the subscription. Are they going to put ads there? Is it going to become a Google search again? Like, how is it going to become? You know?
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, weren't they talking about, like, from e-commerce perspective, which is outside of my wheelhouse, but weren't they talking about with e-commerce, like, through the transactions, like, if they could track that you made the transaction, then they pull cash from that, like, they attribute it back, as opposed to directly showing ads in the results. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how that would work from someone searching for a SaaS tool, whether there has to be some kind of attribution back to the ad. I'm not entirely sure, but it'd be interesting to see.
That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. It's as if like Google didn't have Google Ads, but they got a commission off of any sale would come from a result. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Likewise, Google AI mode, once that rolls out more and more over the next year or so.
Man, it's insane. Like, why they take so much time? Like, for example, in my own like family and friends, my family, my mom, whatever, sister, they stopped using Google. I just use ChatGPT. And I think if Google had built in their GPT version into Google faster, they wouldn't have stopped using it. I think they were too late to it, right? It's crazy.
It's an interesting point. I don't know what the exact stats are, but I think it was back in March of 2025 that SparkToro and Datos did that study where Google still gets 373 times the searches per day or the queries per day compared to ChatGPT. And I think if you added like ChatGPT, Perplexity, all the AI tools together, they're still only 2%-ish.
Yeah,
probably a bit more now of the search market. So I still say that to like when I'm joining calls with marketers and founders, I say, look, Google is still the demand capture beast. Like LLMs are still early. Like now's the time to build up your LLM foundation and make sure you're doing stuff that works for them. But a lot of the SEO playbook carries through, but there is some kind of nuances to showing up LLM. But definitely don't neglect Google because it still works very well to drive demand capture
100%.
inbounds.
I was just like, why didn't they still? Google AI mode hasn't rolled out worldwide, right? So why don't do it faster? I don't. Maybe should be.
And it's hidden, right? You've got to click a link to go through to it.
I don't even have it here. I'm in Portugal,
Don't you?
so I don't even have it. No.
Oh, okay, because I think we've
think
got it in
so.
the UK, but you have to click the tab, so it's like kind of hidden.
Yeah, maybe. Not too sure. But yeah, Google is still the biggest demand capture engine, I guess. Yeah, 1000%. Yeah. What else should we chat about in terms of SEO? I guess people love to call them different terms now. GEO, and I'm responsible for that because I do make content with all these search engines just because people are searching for them, right? So I just have to capitalize on that search intent. So GEO, I don't know. There's a bunch of terms. How do you feel about that?
I often joke about it. I think I'm similar to you in the fact that I like to have a laugh when I'm creating content or when I'm talking to prospects or customers. And I'm like, yeah, GEO, AIO, LLMO, AEO, GIO, GIJO.
Yeah.
But it's all SEO, right? Like, it's still search. It's just search is changing from historically everyone thought of Google. Now it's going to kind of search everywhere. Like, I started talking about the 90-day playbook. And one of the other things I'm talking to companies about is if they've got resource. It's like, yeah, Google's still the beast. Obviously, LLMs are going to get more and more market share as time goes on. But because Reddit especially is sourced so much, especially in ChatGPT, it's like one of the most cited sites. Like, if you've got someone on your team that is a subject matter expert that can, I know there's tools now that can like basically notify you when someone talks about your niche or your industry in Reddit. Mm-hmm. If you've got someone that knows the Reddit game and that can go into relevant threads and subreddits and like comment useful stuff that's only mentioning your brand where relevant and just be a like super helpful resource, that can kind of start getting you some extra mentions. And Google pulls up Reddit quite a lot as well. So that's quite a nice strategy that I know some of my clients are rolling out, as well as the listicle plays, as well as the making your website super in depth like we talked about. And doing the brand mention pieces and the listicle pieces and all those other things that seem to get plugged by ChatGPT quite a lot.
Yeah, Neil Patel calls it search everywhere optimization. It's still SEO, but just a different acronym.
Neil knows all, man.
Yeah, and now, as maybe you saw it, Instagram posts are going to get indexed, so that's maybe an opportunity for some parasite SEOs. I don't know, some exploitation, surely.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there probably will be like a quick hack. I think I'm one of those weird SEOs that, like most of the, because I deal a lot with marketing teams and sometimes founders, but most of the companies we deal with have got a marketing team. A lot of the stuff I share comes back to B2B fundamentals. Like, if you're only going to do SEO as a channel or now search everywhere, it's probably not going to be that great. Like, everything's got to be looked at as a B2B ecosystem. Like, so many, like, take our own leads, for example. Like, when folks book a call with us at Breaking B2B to discuss SEO, sometimes they'll put on, how did you hear about us? Like, we found you through YouTube or the podcast or LinkedIn. And I'll always ask them again when they join the Zoom call. I'll be like, well, how did you stumble upon us today? Like, what made you take the time to inquire with us? Like, you've got so many SEO agencies, why us? And they'll be like, well, I'll be like, did you find us on Google? And they'll be like, well, yeah, search for like B2B SaaS SEO agency or something like that. And I'll be like, oh, right, then you inquired. No. Then I followed you on LinkedIn for a few months, subscribed to your newsletter, checked out your podcast, pinged that in Slack to the rest of my team, and then 4 months later after that, we eventually booked a call. And that just shows you that SEO is one piece of the puzzle, but you really need to, if you want a holistic SaaS marketing or B2B marketing strategy, you need to know those core channels that your dream clients are using and that they get their trusted information from, because it works so much better when they're feeding into each other, rather than just solely relying on one thing and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Just like with ads, I've seen people speak about ads where they're much more successful and much more profitable if you also make organic content on the side. Because people, like, they see an ad, they don't really trust it, so they look for, does this guy exist in a real organic thing? And if you do, people tend to convert. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You're new to LinkedIn. So one of my friends runs an agency, Impactable. His name's Justin Rowe. He's fairly well known on LinkedIn. Runs a LinkedIn ads agency, very meta, but he's like the king of that, like posting organic content and then paying to play for the stuff that does well. And like, we do similar stuff at Breaking B2B, like my thought leader ads, I'll serve to our ICP, or I'll retarget my website traffic and my SEO traffic and just serve them stuff like useful tips, industry news, case studies, results, videos, memes, actionable tips, like a mix of educational, funny and bottom of funnel case studies, just to kind of stay top of mind, because I know that not everyone's going to convert straight away.
Yeah. I guess I've heard this, someone say this, is that people see your ads, your organic content, but they might not be ready to buy then, but they might be in the future. So you got to keep retargeting, keep producing content. So,
yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
And also the fact that if you're selling a high ticket SaaS or service or solution, there's multiple execs involved in the decision. It's rarely just one person, unless it's like a low ticket, low consideration offer. So usually they've got to bring it back to their team or their board or the rest of their marketing team or exec team. And so there's going to be some conversation. And so they're probably going to check out your website. So you've got to build trust with them, as well as the original, maybe head of marketing that went on your site first, or head of ops, or CIO, or whoever your ICP is. They've got to then influence the rest of their team, and then they'll check you out. So there's so much more than what we think on the surface level.
Yeah. Even for me as a customer, right? I look for, when I want to buy something from someone or even a product, I go to YouTube videos, I go to Reddit comments, I go everywhere. I go to there's multiple touch points, and it takes some time, like a couple of weeks. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Anything else we should chat about in terms of the SEO space, or?
I think that's it. I think a lot of the stuff I talk about really when it comes to SEO is kind of drilling down to the fundamentals. And a lot of that stuff still works. It probably is subject to change, but I don't think much beats like really knowing kind of your ideal client, making customer feedback a regular feedback loop, like you talked about, blowing existing content out the water just by being more helpful, more useful, more educational, and then featuring your product as the solution. So whether that's an article or a comparison page, actually making it a sales page. I think one thing that I'm doing, which kind of goes outside SEO right now, is I've made quite a bold claim that because LinkedIn, like one of our big acquisition channels aside from SEO is LinkedIn organic content. I've been posting on there for ages, but the organic reach on that platform's dropped quite a lot. So I made this claim that I'm going to go big on owned media and try and guest on like 2 podcasts a week. In my niche, like relevant B2B marketing or SaaS marketing podcast. But that has an SEO boost in itself. Like that guest podcasting is one of my favorite SEO plays because it basically gives you 3 hits in one. Like I don't know if have you heard of a site called Listen Notes?
I don't think I have. No.
So this would be good for someone like you because you've got your own SaaS. So you could go onto listennotes.com. You could type in your own niche. So in my case, B2B marketing, SaaS marketing, because that's the persona I sold to, but in someone else's niche, sports, accounting, whatever your niche is, then you can see the top podcasts in that niche, and you can see the ones that are most active. You can see who hosts the show. And then in my case, my playbook is I literally just see who hosts the show, make a list of the ones I want to go on. I'm a bit fortunate because I've got a bit of a LinkedIn following, but you can piggyback on your YouTube because you've got that clout. Then I'll just find them on LinkedIn, send them a painfully short connection request that makes them think, what the heck is Sam talking about? Like, hey Vasco, had a weird idea for your podcast, you against a chat. You reply back to me saying, Sam, what the heck are you on about? I'll send you a loom that's like under 1 minute on your website saying like, enjoyed your recent show on this or recent YouTube video on this, which is pretty much what I did to you anyway, although we had a chat before. And I'll just be like, I had a weird idea that I think would be useful for your audience, like we could talk about XYZ, and I can plug you and you can plug me, etc. You do the podcast or the YouTube video, so you get potential inbound leads and potential followers on your socials from that. But then also, when they publish the article to their website, if it's niche relevant, ask for a backlink. It's been quite a good strategy for us over the years, and that works quite well. Plus you get the PR, plus you can get a brand mention for the LLMs.
Yeah.
So you almost get like 3 or 4 hits in one. Really powerful strategy that's neglected.
It's a pretty powerful strategy. A lot of friction, though. I assume most people don't want to do that.
No one wants to do the hard stuff.
Podcast. Yeah, exactly.
The hard stuff is always the most powerful. Exactly. It is a grind, but then you could just pay a team to do it for you, right? But
true.
It's the same with anything.
As I think I mentioned this before on this call or not, but you mentioned paying a team to do this stuff for you. PayPal just put out a job post for almost $300K a year to help their CEO become an influential person on LinkedIn. So you can always pay someone to do it for you.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm not sure where or which platform this is going to be hosted on, if mine or yours. Regardless, Sam has this great SEO agency for B2B and SaaS products, which, I'll be honest, I've been in the SaaS space for a long time, and there's not a lot. There's maybe like a handful of agencies dedicated solely to SaaS and B2B. So it's pretty cool that we get to chat with someone like Sam. So yeah, Sam, where can people find you and give you money for your services? Get results, which is what matters the most.
No, I appreciate it, man. Enjoyed the conversation, and nice to talk to someone else in the game. So yeah, there's 3 main ways for me. One is LinkedIn, where I post daily ramblings on SEO and B2B and SaaS marketing. The second is the podcast, Breaking B2B. Or the third is, if you're tired of hearing me talk about SEO and you want me to get me to shut up, just book a call at breakingb2b.com, and we might be able to help you start driving more pipeline through organic search on Google and LLMs.
Good stuff. I think that's it.
Cheers, sir. Good to chat.